Allow me to welcome our next speaker, Cardinal Dolan, Chair of the Board of the Pontifical Mission Societies of the United States, and at the same time I invite the other bishop members of the board to join us as well.
Thanks, Archbishop Rolio, and thanks to all of you. We're in the bottom of the ninth. I'm aware of that, okay, for this extraordinarily busy day. Joining me would be the bishop members of the Pontifical Mission Societies. You see them coming up now. I'm deeply grateful. As well as on our board will be some extraordinarily committed and knowledgeable lay peoples, Stephen Outh, Barry Jackson, John McManus, and Deacon Frank Curry. So thank you, board members. I wanted you all to see them. My brother bishops and the board members are particularly grateful to the energetic involvement of our apostolic nuncio. Cardinal Christophe Pierre is a very active and engaged member of the board. Now, you all know what we mean by the Pontifical Mission Societies. We mean three things: the Society for the Propagation of the Faith, the St. Peter the Apostle movement, which supports almost all the priests from the Third World, and Holy Childhood, our children supporting the mission children of the world. I just want to offer a few moments of gratitude to you and encouragement. And I'm also eager to make sure that you know our new executive director of the Pontifical Mission Societies, a priest of the Diocese of Fall River. Thank you, Bishop de Kahuna, and appointed by the Holy See, Monsignor Roger Landry. Monsignor, there is Monsignor Landry there. Coming before you with gratitude and offering some words of encouragement seems particularly appropriate for us now. Pope Leo is not just the first pope from the United States, as proud as we are of that, but he's the first pope since St. Peter, get this, to have dedicated himself exclusively prior to the papacy to the mission, the missionary enterprise of the church to the nations. He's the first one since St. Peter to have that claim. He therefore brings a compelling missionary perspective to his work. As the 267th successor of the Fisher of Men from Galilee, his papacy is also the mature fruit of this church in the United States, which, boy, gives us an even greater reason that we always do to greater motive to help the Pope succeed in his apostolic priorities as he seeks to form the missionary church he talked about from the very first moment he stood on the balcony of St. Peter's the night of his election. With regard to missionaries, think about it. We fostered the like of Father Robert Prevost. We fostered the vocations of so many missionary men and women, missionary ardors, our own. We think of Maryknoll and the St. James Society, through various diocesan and archdiocesan missionary societies, and through adopting and staffing, as so many of your parishes do, parishes in mission countries, particularly in Latin America and the Caribbean. Now, we're also, we don't brag about this, we're grateful to our people. The Catholic Church in the United States, led by you, is also by far the most generous country in the world in terms of supporting the missions. The Church in the United States, the Church in the United States, pastored by you, each year underwrites about 30 to 40% of all the Church Universal's missionary endeavors. This is in addition to all that's given through the Missionary Cooperative Program in most dioceses, as well as through the adoption of missionary dioceses and parishes done at the local level. Now, that having been said, hallelujah, let's get a little more somber here. As the needs have grown, our support overall has not. Just 20 years ago, we raised nationally in hard dollars $63 million for the Society of the Propagation of the Faith. And now we're down by a third. That was 3 times what we raised last year to care for those dioceses that are too young, poor, or persecuted to be self-sustaining. That means we've gone down by 2/3 from what we were doing 20 years ago. We're experts on why that's been so. Yeah, mass attendance is down. Many are given electronically, and electronic services often aren't that specific about the second collection. People are not as generous to these generic second collections. Some pastors, you know this, have even made the decision, and most of us haven't stopped them, not to even take up any second collections, whether mandated by canon law, as Mission Sunday is, decreed by the Holy Father, or decided by this Conference of Bishops, or even promulgated by their local bishop. And instead, they might just tithe a certain percentage of the first collection. No wonder the collection is down. And brothers, that bothers us a lot. We also, and I'm talking for the bishops behind me on the board, we also have examined our conscience, and we wonder if one of the most important reasons why generosity has gone down is that maybe we've lost some of our focus on the missions, especially the mission agentes, what we used to call the foreign missions. Reasonable, perhaps, as we've had to face various crises here at home, like the reform of the church after the horrors of 2002, or pastoral planning after major changes in mass attendance or demographics, even soldiering through bankruptcy proceedings. Understandably, we've prioritized getting our own houses in order. And even when we've committed ourselves to mission over maintenance, often we've understood that in more narrow parameters of the new evangelization. How much time and energy have we dedicated to the missions agentes, the foreign missions? For us bishops in America, how can we not examine ourselves rigorously on the words of Jesus, to whom much is given, more is expected? Can I conclude by getting down to a few very specific items that would make a big difference in continuing and enhancing our historic generosity to the missions? First, Canon 791 requires each bishop to appoint a priest as diocesan mission director, and especially director of the Pontifical Mission Societies. There are some dioceses that do not have one. There are others who have given it to a priest with 15 other jobs who can't adequately do this important work. Can we, your brothers, urge you to take similar care with this appointment as you do with other very important positions in your diocesan structure, and set the director up so he can really prioritize on your behalf. Second, the same canon likewise mandates that a collection be taken up annually for the missions, obviously on Mission Sunday. It's the only collection mandated in canon law. In many other countries, including the foreign missions, the poorest nations of the World Mission Sunday collection is the only one taken that day, prioritizing the missions even over the obvious local needs of the parish. Can I ask you to consider reinforcing the mandate within your own dioceses? Even if pastors are not going to have a second collection for the missions, as is expected in canon law, that the first and only collection that day go entirely to the missions. I can't think of a more pointed way to prioritize that evangelical mandate. Thirdly, in some dioceses, frankly, there are accounting practices that are just unfair to the Pontifical Mission Society. For example, sometimes all the overhead of the mission outreach or office in the diocese is taken exclusively from the World Mission Sunday collection, rather than a proportion taken from the missionary co-op or the funds raised for other missionary endeavors. In other places where the mission director also runs, for instance, the Diocesan Catholic Relief Service or other similar responsibilities, the salaries and experiences and their expenses are still taken exclusively from the World Mission Sunday collection. This is simply not fair to the missions, and it's not respecting the intentio dantis. And lastly, can I urge you to consider using, my Lord, the extraordinarily effective materials being produced under Monsignor Landry by the Pontifical Mission Societies to promote missionary awareness and help with promoting the all-important World Mission Sunday. This year, thanks to the work of Monsignor Roger Landry, Pope Leo became the first pope in history, as you know, to record a 1-minute video asking Catholics to help him help missionaries everywhere. Despite our best efforts, most parishes did not use this brief, direct, moving message from our first American Pope, either before Mass or in parish email blasts, social media, or other obvious means. We bishops and lay leaders on the board can verify the effectiveness, the color, the compelling nature of the excellent material that's coming from our national office under Monsignor Landry's leadership that can help us in getting the message out. Wrap it up here. Next year, I don't know if you know it or not, will be the 100th anniversary of Pope Pius XI's decision to establish World Mission Sunday as a day for the whole church, to pray to the Harvest Master for the missionaries and those to whom they're trying to bring the gospel, and to take up a collection to assist them in that saving work. I'd ask you, with this just now about 11 months away, I'd ask you to prepare for this important centenary and to do what it takes to do it well. Wouldn't it be great if we set an all-time record and returned to our pedigree of 2 decades ago? Wouldn't it be sterling if we could really fulfill the hopes in the missions everywhere, in those places of first evangelization where the church is still young and fragile, too poor, too persecuted to be self-sufficient? Wouldn't it be great if we could do even more for the world what the Pontifical Mission Societies did for us up to the year 1908, when we stopped being considered a missionary country, the foreign missions? It was those missionary societies that helped build our cathedrals, our parishes, our churches, helped educate our clergy. Wouldn't it be great if we could now, in an era of self-sufficiency, begin to pay back generously the way we were helped before? Wouldn't it be great, brothers, now with an American Pope, if we could help him much more care for all the faithful in the missionary lands? I just want to thank you for what you've done and encourage you to keep at it. And my brother bishops and these dedicated lay people on the board join me in saying that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Eminence. Thank you, Your Eminence. It's a good mandate. Thank you.
Let's go.